Hello and welcome to Mead and More. I'm Brian, and today we're going to do a test with 4 different yeasts. I've got 2 wine yeasts, an ale yeast, and a bread yeast. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to mix up a gallon batch of mead. I'm going to separate it into 4 quart containers, and then I'm going to pitch the yeast into each one of those containers. So here we have everything assembled that we're going to use. I have my 4 yeasts. I think realistically I'm probably going to be over yeasting everything because I'm real bad at using the open packets. Let's start by hydrating our yeasts. That way, when it's time to pitch, everything is ready to go. And I'm using very unscientific methods because I'm making such a weird batch and I'm not the most professional when it comes to this kind of stuff. So I have some Mead K here. This is a half a teaspoon. Because of how small batches I'm doing, I'm only doing about a quarter to a third of that. So I'm going to let the Mead K fully incorporate. While that's doing that, I'm going to go ahead and add some water to our container. I'm not adding a whole lot right now. So this is a container that I have washed and sterilized. I just never got the label all the way off of it. And now I'm going to go ahead and drain 3 bears into our container. Alright, we've got about 2/3 of the honey in. Before I go any further, I want to go ahead and pitch my yeast. So, first one is going to be the Lalvin EC118. Alright, so apparently the camera stopped recording while I was pitching the yeast. So, we've got them pitched. We have the EC111, or EC1118. We have 71B. We have our Safe Ale USO5 ale yeast, and this one is Red Star Active Dry Bread Yeast. I've got all of the honey in here now, so I'm going to go ahead and close this up, get it shook up really good, make sure we get all that honey incorporated into the water, and then we'll bring up the water level to probably about here, give it another good shake, and then we'll fill our containers before pitching the yeast. Alright, I just had to get my cap out of the sanitizer. Sanitizer I am using is Star San, in case you want to take a look at it, even if all you want to do is see what it is. I'm going to put a link to it in the description down below. Again, it's nice if you buy something off of that. Not necessary. A lot of that is just for you guys to go down and see what it is that I'm using. So let's go ahead and give this guy a good shake. Alright. So giving him a good shake. Let's add the rest of our water to the mix. Alright, and you may have noticed that I did not use a full 3 pounds of honey. I wanted to make the final results of these as same as possible, knowing that the bread yeast and the ale yeast will not get as high of an ABV as the wine yeasts. So let's give this guy a good shake now. Get all of that incorporated. Now, fill our quart jars. So now I'm going to go ahead and pitch the yeasts. I'm going to start with the bread, ale, 71B, and 1118. The ale is very happy and active right now. These. Alright, I'm going to do the same color coded that I did, or I'm going to do the same balloon method that I did on the Easy Mead. So, got lots of, there's my needle. Got lots of sanitizer coming out of the balloon, so should be good. I'm just going to go ahead and pop a few holes into this. Boom. Boom. And boom. Talking about the Easy Mead, if you come back on Friday, I'm going to have an update with what's going on with those. This is definitely not the most nerve-wracking part of all of this. That's a lie. This is the most nerve-wracking part of all of this. And I just want to get it on. I do have a Sharpie here, and I'm just going to write for here, bread, and this is the Red Star Active Dry. Boom. So right there, bread, that's going to be pink. And there is bread. Purple is the ale. It's interesting how the colors have already gone just from the yeast eating this one up. So safe ale. Let me put the smooth side. Alright, moving that to the side so I don't have any more accidents. So now we know that this one is just a little bit shorter than the other. Which I think is probably for the best because this guy seems quite active already. There we go. So what I'm wanting is right under that rim, just to hold it a little better. This one is the Lalvin 71B. And we're going to go ahead and get him in yellow. And there we go. And the last one is the EC1118, which I'm going to hold off on for a minute. Alright, so now let's get a starting gravity measurement. I'm gonna let's pop a couple of holes in this guy first. Everything's kind of wet and slippery right now. Let's see, this is the EC1118. Okay. Now, all of these should have the same starting gravity. So, I'm going to go ahead and .08. Yeah, we're sitting at 1.08. SG 1.08. All right. Let's hope we get most of this back in the jar. And now for the most terrifying part. Okay, so here is our experiment. The Red Star bread yeast, ale yeast 71B, and the EC118. the last batch that I did where I was testing where I showed the being able to use a balloon, we used the Lalvin 71B. So this one is kind of our default. I'm really curious about the ale. So a couple of things with this. One thing to not do like I did was when I pitched the yeast, I did not have the water to temperature. It should have been probably 90 to 100 degrees, and I would say I probably had them closer to 75, 80. So they should have been a little bit warmer. I'm guessing that's why the ale yeast is doing so much better, is it was much happier with that cooler temperature than the others. The bread yeast wanted between 90 and 110. And I just know from experience with these two, they want the yeast to be in that 90 degree range. But we're going to go ahead and let these sit for about a week and come back and see how they are doing. So I can smell the yeast coming out of the holes on that one. Thanks for watching along. If any of this is informative or you want to see more of it, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Give us a like if you enjoyed the video. Even with the mistakes that I made, I am nowhere near perfect. I am just learning all this stuff myself. I've been brewing these for a couple of years now, but it hasn't been like an everyday brewing or even an every week brewing. It has been a put it in the jug and forget it for a couple of months. So I want to try and get better at making better meads. So when this is all done, these should all end up, let's see, we had a starting gravity of around 1.08. I think that came up with, let's see, so I'm going to go ahead and put in our starting gravity, and we came up with a 1.08 final gravity. We're hoping for about a 1. So that should give us an ABV, if it goes down to 0, of about of 10.6%. So it'll still, these two should get down to about a 10.6. They may actually go a little higher, or no, they'll zero out right there. These ones may only go to a 6 to 8, so these may end up a little sweeter. But yeah, I'm curious. Let's see how this goes. So we will come back here next week and give it a check, see what our gravity readings are, and figure out what we want to do from there. So again, if you like the content, please give us a thumbs up and hit subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, we'll catch you guys later.